What's up, guys? Tim Halstead here for episode 16 of the first Calvert monoleaf. So this is going back to working on the Cougar, replacing the monoleaf spring. I'm ready to tear it out now. We'll kind of go over that. I've been working at the machine shop. Right now, we're waiting for the balance job to be done, recheck it and make sure everything's good with that. So I want to get the spring taken out because I know I'm going to have a little bit more power with this new 408. And that leaf spring, like I said before, it's 20-something years old. It's Calvert's first monoleaf for Cougars and Mustangs, 69. So it'll be interesting to see how the new one compares in regards to ride height. I've been working with Travis at Calvert's. Great guy. If you need anything, talk to him. Was going to put a video in, it may be in the beginning of this episode 16, maybe in the end, I'm not sure where, but it's the video of metal axing the Molnar connecting rods. It's pretty cool to watch that. I don't know what frequency they vibrate at, but according to that, it readjusts the grain or aligns the grain with ultra high frequency. A lot of the circle track boys use it. Probably NASCAR does. It's not that expensive. I said, you know what? Do it. Can't hurt. So the rods have been treated to that, and you'll see that video. This is the heads, the AFD heads I'm trying to sell now right here, ported by Morgan, and the matching TFC intake. Just want to move them. People ask why I wanted to sell them. It's just that I don't want them. It's got some bad memories, and I just want to move on to something different. And that's why. They're great heads. I just want to try something different. I'm going with the A3s. I got a lot of experience with them. Morgan's doing the Secret A3 head now, which is a set I sent him to do whatever he wanted to. Hopefully I get the set that's going to go on this 408 build-up, hopefully by the beginning of next week. And I'll post pictures of that and the flow numbers. And I'll kind of give you a rundown. I'm going to take the camera down and show you the car and show you where we're at, and then we'll start working on things, tearing it apart, the leaf spring out. I did get another set of A3s in the back here, and the matching intake. They have a little bit of work done to them, some polishing it looks like. They came complete. Thanks, Caleb, for that. Give you a shout out, Caleb Howdington, I think his last name is. And I'm still waiting for my other Blue Thunder 3.6 from Bruce. And but yeah, I want to move these parts. I just don't want to deal with them right now. I want to move on to something different. But let me show you what's going on with the car. Then you can get an idea. All right, guys, so we're looking at the car from the back and the rear end. That's the Mosier axles I use, 35 spline, wicked strong. Had good luck with them, although I did snap a brand new pinion on one of their 9-inch center sections. First launch, wheels up, snapped the pinion right off, drive shaft came out, took out the brand new right tire on this side, and I'll show you it tore out through the valance. So I got some battle scars on here. Wheelwood brakes, good choice, lightweight. I don't remember the savings off the top of my head, but I'm telling you it was probably close to 25 pounds a side. It's close to 30 in the front. So I use Mark Mentzer adjustable shocks. I don't know if you can see them. I'm trying to get it in here where you can get a good look at them. And I don't like them hanging when I take things apart. So I use wire ties to keep it up in about mid-stroke and secure it so it's out of the way and that it's not hanging there. Don't hang your rear end by the shocks. It's not good practice. It stresses them. That's the Quick Performance Yukon aluminum through-bolt center section, 471 gears. Come back around here, you can see the Fab 9-inch I got with the back brace, pretty stout. Brake line doesn't look the best because I didn't want to cut it and have to bleed the brakes when I put that center section in, so I kind of just made it fit. Coming back here, you can see some battle scars back in here where I dragged the bumper. Here's where the drive shaft came out. There's a hole there you can probably see. So this thing's dragged wicked in the back and in the front bumper. Here's a quick look at the fuel system. Barry Grant 280. Right now I'm running a deadhead system. I've ran the 400 with a return. Never saw any difference. And I learned a new thing about fuel pressure. You don't need any more than 6 pounds. If you need more, you got an issue. So here's the leaf springs, and this is what I'm going to take out. Now, up in front are the jack stands that are being holding the frame up, and the subframe connector. I have a metal plate on them to spread the load, and then I have the two in the back here, and that's going to be for the two in the back are going to hold the rear end up after I take the springs out. They're going to be held up by that. Make sure you got a good height on them so you're not stressing the brake hose or the vent line, which you can see there. You can see the Caltrack rear mount. That's how I mounted my shock. I welded a mount on that. It works perfect. So that's a good little idea to know. And then these rear shackles, these are the Delalume bushings. I'm going to remove these and then reuse them on the new springs, which I'm waiting to talk to Travis now. He's measuring some things. He's going to call me back. So let's get moving on this. So we'll take off these bottom spring plates. So yeah, we'll get these bottom plates off, because they're really the hardest thing. Once you get them free, it's pretty much easy for the rest of the way. So like I was saying, once you get those down, then we'll lift it back up so that the weight of the housing is on the jack stands. That way it prevents it from having any other issues in regards to stress and everything like I just said. So. And I did loosen these up a little before. When I tighten these, I like to do it all even, so that they're both are even threads. That way you know you're tightening it up straight. Sometimes you have to put the nuts back on and tap them up a little bit to get them loose, because they bind on the sides a little bit. They get stuck, the threads get stuck in there. So I thought about making a video. I can't do it now because the drive shaft's obviously out of the car and the motor's out of the car. But one of the things I think I'll do once I get it back together before I go to the track is I need to measure the pinion angle anyways. So I think it'd be a good idea to make a little vid on that, so you can see how I do it. Someone had asked a question before about pinion angle, and I answered it the way I would look at it, because he was mentioning about it has to be in relation to something. And it does. It has to be in relation to the drive shaft and the engine, the way it's sitting in the chassis. So they all go back into each other. They all contribute to each other. You know, there's working angle, operation angle, and then pinion angle. And sometimes people get those confused, and even I do. I have to read about it when I'm doing it to make sure I'm measuring it the right way. Because it's a thing where you add positives and negative to positives, you subtract. So it's some basic math. But like I said before, leaf spring suspension, you know, it's generally thought of as they like negative 5 to 7 degrees down. So that pinion is pointing down, because when this thing launches, that pinion's pulling up. And you want the drive line straight as possible. So we got the bottom spring plates off. So now I'm going to lift up the rear end, the differential center section. And I'm taking the weight. You can hear that click. You can see that side going up pretty good. This side may be hanging up a little bit. Yeah, nice and easy. So now what I do, I can lift it up. I want to bring this up. Like that. That should pretty much free it up. I can't speak enough about being safe underneath the car, man. You got to use jack stands. I'll be honest with you, I've seen 2 people get killed by working on their car without jack stands. Or I've even seen them fall off the jack stands and kill somebody. 2 different instances. And it's just not worth it. So now I should be able to let this down. I'd like to have that up just a little bit more, I think. See if I let it down a little. Same thing here. Like I said, my springs have spacers here. And I guess they're like a lowering block. That's how they came from the factory. And then I have my shims here. You can see these. I use these as a 2-degree shim to get my correct pinion angle. There it is there. So that sits on top of this, and the spring sits on that, and it's centered through this hole that holds the centering pin. So here's the deal. If you can see that board there, actually I can move this out of the way. I just have it resting underneath the pinion so it doesn't tip forward. It's not really holding anything. All the weight's on these jack stands. Now the spring's nice and loose and I can get everything apart. You can see these nylon type washers for that setup. Looks like they slide right out of there. Oh yeah, nice. I'm gonna have to do a big cleanup on that stuff, but the rest of them can stay right in there. Again, the same thing, 2 bolts hold the leaf spring into the shackle, and then you just have to undo the nuts on the side plate. Man, these come apart nice. There again is the other washer with some red lube on there. I use like a synthetic type lubricant. And then you just have to pull those off. Yeah, those are nice. Those things rotate real nice. Now here, if you can see this, I'm going to have to drive that bushing out of there, which isn't a big deal. Press it out of there. Don't drive it and pound it. And that's really it. In my case, my bolts go through my subframe connector because I have them welded into the floor. So it's a little harder to get this bolt out. That's the hard part, is trying to get that thing out. It's not that hard, but I just got to get the right tool. I will tell you this, if you can hear me, one day I'm going to have a lift, because doing this is crazy. Lay on your back. But I've been doing it for 37 years, so I guess I got kind of used to it. And that's how you take them out from the front with a spring eye. This side's a little challenging too, because my fuel line kind of goes up through the frame up that way. Sometimes you just put a screwdriver through there, push it through. Alright guys, so we got that spring out, a little bit of a struggle, but it came out pretty easy. You can see the bushing in here, and the Calvert stop bolts right here. We all know how they kind of work. But I'm telling you, when you have these things on, you want them loose. You want this stuff moving. You don't want it binding. So that's where we're at. I talked to Travis. He's going to sponsor me, him and Calvert. So they're sending me a leaf spring. Hopefully they'll be here next week. And I'll get this back in. What's up, guys? You came to see me? I'm just finishing up this video. That's Izzy. If you remember Izzy, there's Elena. And look, here's my wife. Hi, wife.
Hi.
This is Andrea.
Hi, Daddy.
She puts up with all my antics.
Hi, Mommy and Daddy.
And that's Elena, and that's Izzy. So we just got that spring out, I'm waiting for a new one to come in. We're going to put that in there.
Okay.
What kind of motor is this? Right. Yep. There it is. Look at the camera now so you can say hi to everybody.
Hi.
So we'll try to get them involved with putting the spring back in and getting this motor back in, right?
Sounds good.
Don't you want to? We need you to drive the car, right?
Get them ready to drive.
We'll slow it down though.
Good start.
Yeah.
Wait, can I
Run
try?
10 O's.
I want to try.
You can.
Soon.
I want
You
to
got a little while yet.
About 10 years.
First, you got to start to learn how to work on them.
Hi, Daddy.
And then you can drive them. Right?
Do.
Hey, hey.
All right.
All right, guys. Say,
Bye.
Say bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Subscribe and share.
Okay. Bye.